Presidential Decision Directive 51 is classified, but the cover sheet at whitehouse.gov says that basically for any emergency, financial or any other, the president is a dictator, Congress has no authority. And then the head of the Homeland Security Committee a year ago said, I want to see that. I'm co-equal with the president. I'm at the same level of classified information. It's not the president's above the judicial and the legislative. The executive is co-equal. And the White House said, you've read the cover sheet. It says you're not involved in COG. Well, think of the power of letting the shadow government that's already existed since 47 and grown and been funded trillions of dollars to now have total secrecy, total control. And under COG, it's over $4 trillion now missing. You can see hearings from years ago with Cynthia McKinney in Congress saying how much is missing, and they'll say 2.4, 2.9. It's now over $4 trillion. People said, well, wait, the budget's only $700 billion. It was all the Pentagon investments. It was the pension funds. It was all the investments, because governments, county, city, state, federal, different agencies invest, quote, to make profit. Well, all those investments are just gone. And they're brought before Congress and they say, we're not going to tell you where the $4 trillion is, and it may make the AP once, but never is it on the nightly news. And that's why they drove Cynthia McKinney out of Congress twice, was because she kept bringing that up. Where are the trillions? And Donald Rumsfeld and others would just say, we're not going to tell you. Facts. That's one of their weak points. Because you got millions of people in this system. And a lot of them aren't bad, so they leak things. But also, people say, well, if it was this bad or this evil, it would leak out. It does leak out. They have their white papers. They have their marching orders. They have their blueprints. And we have them. And now the people are going, wait a minute. Is Monday Night Football important, or are my children's future important, or is my retirement important, or is my environment important? And they're actually opening it up and looking at the facts and finding out, whoa, while we were asleep at the wheel, while we were off having fun, thinking everything was okay and we could do no wrong, evils that have always been in this country have really grown up overnight into something very, very dangerous. And now those corrupt systems are telling us that we don't have a right to say it's wrong, or we're conspiracy theorists because we see this corruption and want to try to stop it. You have polls of upwards of 80% won out of the war. They sent the Democrats to Congress 2 years ago. What's happened? The war has actually expanded. There's more troops. They're talking about more troops to Afghanistan. They're talking about going into Pakistan. Now the United States and NATO have funded a sneak attack into Georgia, stirring up a fight with the Russians. And the Pentagon's doing everything it can to restart the Cold War. And I'm just a red, white, and blue. I'm certainly no fan of the evil Putin, but give me a break. Our government snuck attacked them, and you see John McCain come out and talk about a new war. You see Barack Obama come out and talk about how evil Russia is. And the corporate media is so wicked. That's the only way to describe it. And it's not just wickedness. It is an absolute disgust and disregard for the intelligence of the American people. They've been running a monopoly of information for so long that they would arrogantly, for the last month, get on the news and say Russia snuck attack Georgia. Headlines, Russia invades Georgia, Russia attacks Georgia. And I'm sitting here going, my God, if you read the bottom paragraph of every article, it admits after a sneak attack killing thousands on these Russian enclaves. And that's just another example of why we have to stop this empire now. They're delusional. They have megalomania like Caligula, or what we saw with Hitler, or Stalin, or any of these people. They just get out of control. And it's clear that this global corporate state that they call the New World Order is gone completely insane. And they just see wars they want to start everywhere. And that's what Dick Cheney wrote in the PNAC documents way back in September of 2000, was that we're going to go into Iraq, we're going to go into Afghanistan, then we're going to encircle Russia, we're going to encircle China, we're going to start brush fire wars with them. What I talk about and what many others discuss is scary. People say, well, you're being negative. No, if you tell your child, don't walk out in front of a bus and you'll get hurt, that's not negative. In fact, that's very positive. You love your child, you don't want them to be run over. If you tell your child, don't stick your hand in the flame. Or if firefighters pull up to somebody's house and say, your home's on fire, please come out. It's not negative to say your house is on fire. And our society, our culture is burning down to the ground. There's still a lot of great things in it. And the good news is, the hope is, the American people finally are smelling the smoke and seeing the flame and deciding, yeah, that really is a fire. We better try to put this out, or at least, protect ourselves. And so I'm just ringing the alarm bell. People say, well, what are solutions? Hey, there's so much corruption, I can't even be aware of it all. I'm documented stuff. It's just out in the open now. And so the good news is the alternative media is exploding exponentially. The mainstream media is dying, falling apart because they've been lying so much and lost all their credibility. So the good news is there is a revolution of awakening, a renaissance of awakening happening right now. The bad news is the establishment sees that and is moving to suppress and block it and send the message, we got guys in Darth Vader outfits that will beat you up, don't come out and protest. But I talked to a lot of the police here in Denver for the DNC, and they are really waking up and understanding now. And so, again, there's a huge awakening happening, but the establishment's trying to suppress that. But at least there's an awakening against it. In so many other cultures and societies, the people have been so suppressed from the beginning, they never have a chance to get out from under it. We've had so much liberty, relatively, we're not perfect, to other nations that we have such a history of rebellion and resistance to tyranny that even if our muscles are atrophied, we're kind of getting out of the bed. We're learning to walk again. And soon we're going to be learning to jog again. And so we're getting healthy again and starting to value liberty and freedom and creativity instead of all the things that the corporate system has told us to value. And again, I don't want to be some hypocrite saying, sell your house and sell your clothes and walk the earth in a barrel. I'm saying you got to put liberty and freedom first. And then other things are important too. It's just that people are beginning to realize all the crap is actually a lot of times a hassle. What really matters, what generates wealth, what generates liberty, is having those basic freedoms. And if we lose that engine, we lose it all. And an amazing country goes down the tubes. And that's really what's happening. We're being sucked dry right now to maintain this empire. I mean, the corporate welfare is just exponential. And they're bankrupting the dollar in the name of doing that. And so we also need to tell the people who's behind all this. If we allow the establishment, the global corporate state, to carry out their plans and then have their talking heads give us false reasons for why these things are happening, they'll pose as the saviors in the next level of the crisis, which is actually their formula. We have to be there to go, no, this is what they're doing. Here's their own documents. And so falsifying terrorism is one of their favorite tools. And I have to say that all the poll numbers show the American people have woken up to false flag terrorism. And a lot of Americans know that 9/11 was an inside job.